Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here. Today I want to talk about what I hope Ruger does with the Marlin brand. In my last video I talked about how Ruger bought Marlin in the Freedom Group bankruptcy case, and how Freedom Group had to split up all of its different brands like Remington and Marlin and H&R and all these other brands and sell them off. And the one I was most pleased with was Ruger buying the Marlin brand. And of course, Bushmaster was bought, and Remington Ammunition was bought, and Barnes, and all these other companies. They were all bought by different other companies. And so I'm really excited about the Ruger buying Marlin, because Ruger is a gun manufacturer. They know gun manufacturing. In fact, they're one of the best gun manufacturers in America today. They make some very high quality guns, and they produce a lot of them. I think they produce and sell more guns in the United States than any other gun company. I could be wrong on that, but I think that is the case, and it's because they produce a wide variety of guns versus like some other companies like Glock or other companies that specialize in one or two categories. They don't just make pistols or just make AR-15s. They make hunting rifles, they make rimfire rifles, they make revolvers and single action and double action pistols. They make all these different kinds of guns. And now with Marlin, they're making lever actions, which they haven't. They have made lever actions, but they haven't made them in a long time, and they never made a classic cowboy style lever action. So this is just going to be beneficial for both brands, in my opinion, and I believe this is the first brand that Ruger has bought in its 70 plus years of being in business. As far as I know, they've always just been a one brand show. And so now it's going to be Ruger and Marlin. So what are the things that I hope Ruger does with the Marlin brand? First and foremost, and what I think is the most important, is that I hope Ruger does not drop any of Marlin's current offerings. In other words, I want them to keep everything they currently have. So with their lever actions, you have the 1894, the 1895, the 336, and all their different calibers and configurations, and maybe even add a couple new offerings, like maybe offer the 35 Remington in more than just one model of 336. Maybe offer it in the Curly Maple or the Texan or something, because I think they only offer it in the 336C currently, and I think it's been that way for a long time. But just things like that. And the second part of that equation is the only other type of gun Marlin currently produces is rimfire rifles in semi-automatic and bolt action, and that is the biggest competition for Ruger in the Marlin brand is their rimfire rifles, because the Model 60 and the Model 795 directly compete with the Ruger 1022. But they are a cheaper alternative to the Ruger 1022. They're like about $100 cheaper, or maybe like $50 to $100 cheaper. And same goes for like their bolt actions compared to Ruger's bolt action rimfires. So I really hope that they still offer those, because those are nice, inexpensive offerings for 22 long rifle, 22 mag, 17 HMR, and maybe they can even offer like a 17 Winchester Super Mag or something, kind of expand upon what they currently have. So that's the first thing that I want them to do. Second thing that I want them to do is I want them to bring back the 39A as a production gun. It is currently only offered in Marlin's custom shop at $3,000 plus. And I don't know about you, but I'm not wanting to spend $3,000 or more on a 22 lever action. I'd rather buy a Henry or a Chiappa or any number of production lever action 22s on the market today. I know the 39A is probably the best quality 22 lever action that you can get, but I don't want to spend $3,000 for it. I want to spend like $600 for it. or 700 or whatever the current market would price it at. I want it to be a decent price, and I honestly don't even think that $700 is a decent price, but it's better than $3,000. So that's the second thing. The third thing, and I think this one would be huge, is I want them to produce Marlin shotguns. Specifically, I think they should produce a coach gun, or maybe even a full-length double-barrel shotgun, or maybe like a Winchester 1897 copy. Something to bring to the cowboy action market. Now, with Marlin, you have guns like the 1894 that are good for cowboy action, and with Ruger, I don't have one, but I do have a Blackhawk, but the Vaquero is good for cowboy action as well. And if they brought a double barrel shotgun or a classic style old pump action or even a lever action shotgun, that could be used in the cowboy action market. And then Ruger and Marlin would have that market cornered in the American, in an American produced brand. Because I don't think that there's any current American produced coach guns or even just any kind of cowboy action shotgun. I think you're pretty much looking at Stoeger and other companies made in like Italy, or maybe even a few others. Like there's some Chinese shotguns that are double barrel and lever action shotguns that would be used on the cowboy action market as well. But this is a good opportunity to bring in an American produced double barrel shotgun or just a cowboy action shotgun in general. So those are probably the three biggest things I want Ruger to do with Marlin. Some other things that I think would be cool but not necessarily as important would be to bring them into the handgun world. And I'm not saying bring out a polymer frame striker fire gun. I'm talking about maybe offering some Marlin branded single action revolvers, or maybe even some double action revolvers, or maybe even some 1911, something steel frame or aluminum framed, something more classic. Marlin was never a tactical type of brand. They do have some more tactical style lever actions now, but I think those still kind of blend in well with the classic old style lever actions. I don't think, one thing I don't want them to do with Marlin is I don't want there to be a Marlin branded AR-15 or a Marlin branded AK-47. Marlin is a lever action company. They did produce some bolt action, and that's another thing that I think would be cool to have, is bring back the bolt actions, but that's not necessarily a necessity in my opinion, because Marlin was mostly known as a lever action rifle company. But other things, bring back the Camp carbine, the Camp 9, the Camp 45, bring back a 40 caliber version or a 10 millimeter version. Those are some things that Marlin made back in the day that were very popular and I think would sell like hotcakes today. So, Ruger has the PC carbine that they came out with a couple years ago, and they had the PC9 and the PC4 back in the day. Maybe bring something like that back with Marlin, but in like a wood stock configuration, because I'd say Ruger is your more tactical brand and Marlin is your more classic brand. So those are just a few things that I think Ruger should do with the Marlin brand. Not necessarily all the things that I think they should do, but I think they should, bring the quality back, or at least to where it is currently, because Marlin's current quality is pretty decent in my opinion, and bring back some old offerings, maybe bring back some new offerings, and keep everything that they currently have. Don't drop anything. That's just my opinion. That's what I think Ruger should do with Marlin. So subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm Redneck Mini 14, and until next time, be safe.